Hi, everybody. I am back. This is Coffee Brown, and this is, or the name of this show is Coffee Spills the Tea. So, first of all, if you could, please like and subscribe. Well, like this segment and subscribe to my channel so that you can get uh, more content and help my algorithm so I can get more people that are viewing my videos, and that's great for all of us. And if you want to get notifications of when I upload videos, if you could hit the bell below, and then for notifications, just hit all. Then you will get a notification each time I upload a video to YouTube. So, last week was a very tough week for me. I had to literally take a week off. I said I was going to be posting every Monday and Thursday. And then I woke up Monday morning, and to my shock and to my chagrin, I found that somehow someone had linked a some kind of Instagram account to my Facebook account, and then had violated community standards or guidelines or something. And as a result, my Facebook page was gone. Now, I would say that probably it wouldn't matter that much, except for that a lot of my older family members are on YouTube. Friends I haven't really course that I don't see all the time that live in other countries are on YouTube, or sorry, not YouTube, sorry, Facebook. I don't have any way of getting in touch with them. I mean, the easiest way, I mean, I could go in and dig up information on a lot of them by going through thousands and thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of emails and trying to sort out how to get in touch with people, but it's been a little bit of a nightmare. And there's no way for me to appeal it, even though they say I have 180 days to appeal. There's no appeal button, and the only way to appeal it is by logging into your account. I can't log into my account because the account has been suspended. So you see the catch 22 here. And then the funny thing is like literally that morning, here's Zuckerberg on the news saying that he is now going to suspend fact checkers and make it so that they just have a community of commenters. So basically, there's not going to be very many community guidelines anymore so you can violate. Where does that leave me and my Facebook, which is really important to me in the sense that, again, I have older relatives on there. I have family and friends that are overseas. I have a lot of communities that are on Facebook. Like the community where I live is very networked into Facebook. And I have no way of knowing what's going on with my community. So I don't have any answers right now. I'm just kind of working towards resolutions, and from what I read, it's going to take months. So when they give you 180 days, it's probably going to take about 170 of those 180 days. And I don't have 180 days anymore because it's been a week. And I have to decide if I'm going to let that Facebook page go and just say goodbye to a lot of friends and family members, or if I'm going to fight it. If I do fight it, the main reason why I would is because I just really hate the idea that somebody took my good name and has ruined it by putting some kind of really weird, like, I don't even know how they did it. They linked a Facebook page to mine, and the only way I can think of it is that I got some really weird DMs, which I thought was from Meta, asking me to verify my account because they said that I had a business Facebook page. It was violating community guidelines, and they were going to be deleting it soon. And they were saying something about a copyright infringement. And, here I am just stupidly thinking that I was dealing with Meta. And it looked like a Meta account that was contacting me. But probably in hindsight, it probably was not. Because I responded to them that night and then woke up the next morning to having like my Facebook down. So in between that, plus just dealing with my storage and having issues with my storage, and we had a bad storm, I just really had a really rough week last week. And so I didn't really want to just kind of dump all that on you, especially when I had a lot of things going on that was far exceeding the way that I'm explaining it to you. So yes, I had a week off, but my hope is that that will be, I can just kind of move on. Now, as far as what I just want to kind of talk about this week, I don't know if you see that, right? So I pulled up that picture, and last week I was looking at the news, and they were talking about this senator, the woman there. I think she's from Nebraska. Yeah, I know she's from Nebraska. And she was a senator being sworn in by Kamala Harris, right? And she came up with her husband and had her husband holding the Bible, and he acted like Kamala Harris had the bubonic plague and the clap and whatever else, polio and like chicken pox and shingles and every possible disease that you could possibly imagine, all mixed up on her hand. And so when the time came that after Harris swore in this Nebraska senator, when she shook the senator's hand, she went to shake the husband's hand, and as you can see here, I just kind of froze that part, and he refused to do it. Then later on came back and said, well, I had the cane in one hand, I had the Bible in the other hand. Well, he had put the Bible down at that point, so a hand is free. And he didn't appear to be that he couldn't walk, because, he's able to basically stand with the Bible in one hand and a cane in the other. So, you don't have the Bible anymore. What's the problem? Right? We're not stupid, right? We know what's going on, right? Like, I don't understand why people are unwilling to say what is most likely the obvious. The reason why Kamala Harris lost that election, the main reason, there are other things too, but the main reason why is because, one, they don't want a woman running this country. Two, they don't like, and I mean they, the people that didn't vote for her or stayed at home those days, they don't like a black person running this country. And three, they don't like a black woman running this country. Until we acknowledge that, we will continue to have issues. Now, I've spoken with other friends of mine, other black women, friends of mine, and I keep saying the same thing, which is that this past election was a referendum. It was a referendum that really just kind of validated everything I was saying. Black women are supposed to be, but we are strong. We are taking care of our families. We are taking care of the children. There are times when we are taking care of our children and raising them alone. We are the ones that will take in family members and that are sick and dying and ailing, and be the ones to take care of them, oftentimes still having a job. We are the ones that will get on 3 trains and 2 buses and go across the city to go work at Walmart for 40 hours a week and then come back home, still take care of the family, and still have to deal with welfare. Or social services, however you want to say it. But it's the same thing. And that's that same social services that Walmart encourages their employees to apply for when they apply for a job. Okay. The same Walmart that is now dismantling their DEI. So we are really climbing an uphill battle. And I read somewhere and have also heard somewhere that black women have something like 65% of black women have advanced degrees. It's not just like bachelor's degrees, but have master's degrees as well rather, and maybe even PhDs. But yet we don't have that reflected in our pay. We don't have it reflected in our the way that we are treated. Um, we don't have we just there's no indication of that respect for everything that we do and everything that we achieve. So that is not being reflected. So it just kind of really makes you want to like really just take a step back and just trying to reevaluate like where is our value. Like I see value. I see value in you and in me and in us and in my girlfriends, and I see the value. But outside of our group, like who really sees the value? So it makes me really sad. It makes me really sad that we're at this stage in 2025, we are still not valued. So, and I didn't mean to be this like kind of ranty thing, but like this is really how I wanted to start this. And I wouldn't have been able to do this last week because I was going through so much that if I came on and did this, I might have cried. But this week I'm in a better headspace, and I just feel like it's important for us to talk about it and to have a space where we can emote and where we can vent our frustrations. Because, what have I heard about Kamala Harris from people who were like, and it wasn't that they didn't like her, they don't like what she represents. Like I was looking at pictures of people walking, not even pictures, but videos of people walking around with shirts on saying Joe and the hoe. Joe Biden and Kamala being like elected. And I'm thinking, like, what is that? And then when someone confronted, like in a video, confronted them, like, what are you wearing? Why are you wearing that? That's a joke. Oh, okay. But would that be the same joke if it was like Trump and his wife? I mean, not to say that's the same thing, but because it's wife and husband, but still, like, is that appropriate? No. But using that kind of language and that kind of imagery, that is common. And so it just makes me even more determined to figure out, how can I get out of here? How can I leave this country? So I am focused even more than usual with how I can possibly make it out. Now, I'm going to just kind of back this up a little bit. And I don't think that like all non-black people are bad. By all means, no. I'm going to just kind of tell you something. Last week when I was having really hard time and I was really struggling because my storage and getting that all emptied out is just not working out as I planned. And I just really wanted to just put my head down and just not get up. And a friend of mine, this Greek friend of mine, I think I talked about him before, and I was like, oh, he's like black adjacent, like, really nice guy. and he's not even in the country right now. And he heard about what I was going through, and he made a point of texting me while I was like going through all this and saying, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna call like DoorDash or get on DoorDash. And I'm gonna have something delivered to you. And he's like, I just want you to rest because you can't just be like running around doing this all the time. He's like, why do you do this? And I'm like, this is what black women do. This is what we do. We hustle. I was like, do you know how hard it is to be a black female alone trying to do all of this stuff? I don't have the upper body strength to be like moving these big boxes and big bins and all this stuff around. I'm just physically exhausted. And so he did two things. So the first thing was is he called DoorDash, or not called DoorDash, but he contacted me. He's like, what do you want? What do you want? You want anything? Anything at all? He's like, here's a restaurant. You like this? Oh, yeah. You like this food? Okay, I'm going to get this for you. I'm going to get you some soup. I'm going to get you some tea. I'm going to get you some dinner. I don't want you to think about anything. I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to relax. I just want you to have some time because nobody's taking care of you. And I was just like, and then the second thing he's like is when I get back into town, I'm gonna go with you. And I was like, he said, and I would never accept this, but he's like, I don't care if I have to pay with my own money. I'm gonna get you moved out of that storage. And I was like, absolutely not, because I know for a fact that he's taking care of a very, very, very critically ill parent who is literally on their deathbed. And he took that time off because he needed time away. And I could never do that to him. So, but I appreciated his help. And I was just like, I think I'll take him up on the offer of at least, like, because I just meant like my shoulder hurts. I twisted my ankle. And I was just like, I'll take him up on it if he can come out for an afternoon, like this Saturday, and just help me just kind of like clear as much out as possible. Okay, that I'd be happy with. So so that's what we're gonna do this Saturday. I still send him a message, but yeah, we're gonna go through this Saturday, and I'm gonna pull everything out of my storage that I think I can sell and just bring that here to my house. And then the plan is to get into this group of people and just say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be selling this stuff extremely cheaply, and anybody that wants it, here's the price, and come on down. See if we can't sell some of this stuff. I am not saying at all that every person that is not black is a bad person. Not at all. But I am saying that fundamentally in this country, in the United States, there is a problem. Like I keep going through that song, America Has a Problem, with the Beyonce song, And then the other song is I forget the name of the guy. It'll come to me. But he's singing that this is America. I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the guy. But he sings about this is America, and then he has that shocking video where he takes the gun and that's how I never really understood. Let's just say, never understood totally what the beginning of that video meant. But I feel like I'm seeing it now. And it's kind of making sense. So, Danny Glover. Yeah, Danny Glover. So This is America. It's in between him and Beyonce and the Beyonce Kendrick Lamar, song. those two songs just keep on resonating in my head over and over and over again. I just feel like our country is not in a good place. And I don't know if I am strong enough. And God help the people that are staying or can't leave. And nothing says I can leave right now either. I really cannot leave. Cannot leave until I'm able to secure the type of job that will allow me to be able to work from anywhere. So that is the goal of what I am focusing on, is that, like, just interviewing. So I have like I have an interview this week. I had an interview last week. I have another interview, I believe, next week. And I'm just like I'm just lining them up as quickly as I can to see like what I can get. And then I have like another interview I already did like last year, following through with them. And I'm also like going back to old contractors I worked for, and I was just like, look, this is what I'm available for. Help me to like get back in contracts with you. What do I need to do? So as Black women, if you're feeling like me and you're really feeling like, hey, you know what? I just really want to leave. I think it's, I validate that. I feel that need to want to get out. And if so, then come up with a plan. I think I talked before about Stephanie Perry. Stephanie, Stephanie, Perry, Perry. She's a YouTube channel. And she talks about how you can move overseas and never come back. And I think she's been traveling and just living. And I don't call it traveling, because traveling is I leave the country, I go out, I have a good time, I come back, and then that's that. That's traveling. There's living outside the country where you're just like, I'm gone. Peace out. Deuces, you're out the door. And she's out the door. She's been gone since like 2015. Does she ever come back? Yes. But for the most part, she lives out of the country. She lives remote, or she works remote, and she lives outside the country. And she has very interesting discussions on her channel on how you can get to that point as well. So I recommend that you go to her YouTube channel, watch the videos, subscribe to her channel, set up the notifications, and see how she does it, because she's given so many positive nuggets of information on how you can set yourself up. And that's the way I'm trying to set myself up. So first and foremost, and that's something she hasn't mentioned, is get your debts out of the way. Just knock out your debts. And I pretty much knocked out all my debts. I do have one debt that's left, and it's just because right now I just don't foresee myself until I can get a job set up. But once I get my job, the first thing I'm going to do is finish out that credit card. I don't have but like $800 on it. That's it. That's all my debt. That's the only debt I have. I have no other debts. So I would say do that first. Then it becomes a matter of taking care of everything and closing everything out. And so methodically, I've just been closing things out. Looking at all of the things that I pay for. What am I paying for? What don't I need to pay for? And then close it out. I have a dog. I have 2 dogs, and each of them have their own insurance. And I just submitted claims for dog number 2. And if they come back and tell me those claims are denied, I'm cutting that off too. I love my dogs. I pray that my dogs don't get sick. But to tell you the truth, that when you move overseas, all of the costs that you're paying for vet care is so much lower. Because just like hospitals, these big vets are coming in and they're buying out all these independent smaller vets and then raising and jacking up the prices. And we can't afford to pay those prices anymore. And I'm not going to pay for insurance that's not going to reimburse me when I need it back. And I absolutely don't use insurance if I don't need it. I have another dog down here. I've been paying for her insurance for like a good 12 years. That's thousands and thousands of dollars. If this dog gets sick, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to be applying for insurance. Don't let them turn down one thing. Because if they turn it down, I'm out. Cancel. Boop. And then pray they're healthy until I can get them to Europe. And then if something happens, it's a fraction, a very small fraction, like tens of dollars, for them to go in and have treatments that cost hundreds to thousands of dollars here in the United States. It's kind of nuts. But this is why living overseas, and I haven't really talked about that a lot, I think. But this is part of the reason why living overseas is cheaper than living in the States. Well, there are things that are cheaper. So why not take advantage of that? Move overseas and lower your costs. On Stephanie Perry's channel, there was a woman who moved overseas and was able to pay off like all of her debts. Like I think within a couple of years. And she had like some good debt. But once she lived overseas, it was just like, okay, well, it's a fraction of the cost of what it would cost for the lifestyle that we have become accustomed to in the United States. And so once she got rid of everything and she moved out of the country, and then she really could see, what do I really need to pay for? What am I paying for? Then it was just like, okay, not a lot. Okay. So the same thing. I'm getting rid of dog insurance. When I move overseas anyway, the insurance doesn't cover them. And that's something that I'm just going to have to give up on for the dog that I've been paying like 13 years of insurance for. So I've been paying for it all for nothing. Because once she moves overseas, that insurance is no longer valid. And it's 24 Pet Watch, which is also going out of business. Or they're no longer going to be insuring pets, but they're honoring the current insurance that is running. So she just had her year of insurance renewed. And if I wanted to get the other dog in under 24 Pet Watch, I couldn't, because they're like, we no longer accept new insurance. I don't know what's going on with that, but okay, whatever. So I'm gonna just probably do like one big push to get some of her things that I purchased. Like she got a little bit of, I call it loose booty, but she likes to eat poop, and then she has gastrointestinal issues. So I had to pay for the probiotics and whatnot to get her stomach back under control. So I'll probably submit stuff like that. See what happens. She does have to have her teeth done, so if there's a way to have some of that covered, then that'd be nice. Although I'm just wondering, is it going to be cheaper overseas? So I have to do a cost comparison. But until she moves overseas, because she has a pre-existing condition, she does have a heart murmur, I will not take her off insurance until we move overseas. And then I've got her in with another vet. Well, once we move overseas, even if I didn't have a vet, they don't cover overseas. So we're done. Anyways, so that's some of the things I have to think about. I'm paying for them right now, but I will not be paying for them once I move overseas. I will keep my cell phones, and I'll just set it up to have call forwarding and everything set up so that my phones will forward. I will not have the internet that I have here, but I will still have internet over there. But from what I'm seeing, the prices are cheaper there. The cost of food cheaper over there. My goal is hopefully to get some kind of like slow living, like a detached house with a garden, and then set it up so that my garden has vegetables and things that I can grow in it, so that I'm not having to worry about vegetables. I want to have fresh vegetables. Not everything I will be uh, grown there, but I'd like to have like potatoes. Love to have like maybe um, some chilies, um, maybe a little strawberry patch. I don't know, just beans. I would like to have some things, lettuce. Love to have some things growing in my garden, so I can be a little bit more self sufficient. And then if I know that I'm going to stay there for long term, chickens. Yes, and maybe even a goat or two. Probably two, because I wouldn't want to have one goat, and then that goat doesn't have friends. And then bees, because I just always wanted to have my own bees. Um, but yeah, I'd like to be self sufficient and live overseas and just have my own sustainable lifestyle. And that will keep my prices down. And so, yeah, so I have to worry about that. Then I have to worry about downsizing. And I'm going to be just kind of selling everything off as much as possible, and just whatever I can't sell off, donate it. And if it can't be donated, then I know I've got a whole neighborhood full of cheap people out here that are willing to like take it for free. So I'll get that done. And then, yeah, I'll have to get my dogs their European passports, which means they have to have certain shots that are required by law in Europe. Once they get that, then they'll be good to go. Um, right now, my mom is really not interested in like permanently moving overseas, and I don't blame her, because yeah, she gets supplemental or SSI or Social Security. I don't want her to lose out on any of her income. And she's in a nursing home. She's miserable, but I told her, oh, what if you came for like 4 months out of the year, and 5 months out of the year, and then you can go back home, and that allows you to keep your Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, keep all that. And she's like, yeah, I'm good on that. So yeah. And as I mentioned before, I'm interviewing, so getting that set up, and that could probably be one of the hardest things that you'll have to focus on, is how do I set it up so that I can have a job where I can work remotely. From what I'm seeing, a lot of people seem to be entrepreneurial, and if you have an entrepreneurial spirit and you feel that you can make money selling whatever services that you maybe are doing for some other employer or corporation, you can do it independently, go for it. What else? Sorry, it's kind of late. It's kind of late here. I've been trying to stifle the yawns, but I had to let it rip. Yeah, so figuring out even your passport or your visas as well. I want to move to Italy, and I know I can't just like pack everything up and be like, I'm in Italy, and then just be there the next day. You're going to get a tourist visa for 90 days, and then they're going to kick you out. So the best way for me to do this in my country, for my visa for Italy, is to apply through the consulate in DC, and then just wait. And whatever that paperwork time is the time that it's going to take for me to like get a long-term visa. And I'll probably, excuse me, oh boy, I'll probably have to hire an attorney that knows and understands the Italian way, because as I understand, there's a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of red tape. But if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, you may be able to get some help with pushing things through. So yeah. So wherever you end up thinking that you want to go, don't just automatically assume that you could just like put a stamp on your passport and just roll out the door. You want to make sure that you understand, like, first of all, does that country have a way for you to be able to work towards a visa beyond like uh, that like tourist visa? And then how can you do it? Do you have to do it from your home country, which is for us the United States, or wherever your country is? And then once that is approved, then you can go into that country. Or can you go to that country and just apply right there? Or do you have to go to that country and live in that country for so much time? Then after so much time, you can start to apply for the passport. Like, everything is different. And depending on the country, there are some countries that are like, okay, if you're 35 years or younger, we'd love to have you. I want to say this, like Iceland has that policy, and South Korea. Then there are a lot of countries that will say, hey, if you're a retired person and you could show that you have that residual income, or you have that income that's coming through like the government or whatever, and you can show them that, then you're in. And excuse me, they're gonna give you like a floor, like you need to make this much minimum. And as long as you can show that you're making above that, then yeah, you're good. And I'm just mentioning the most popular ways that I've seen. Then there's the whole, you can buy a house, and it has to be a certain like value that you purchase of this house. And if you purchase the house and it's valued at this much, then you can come into the country and you can live there. What other ways have I seen? I can't think of anything else, but there are other ways. Oh, digital nomad. You have to show that you have a remote job, not working for their government, which means you'll be paying their taxes and you'll be paying United States taxes, but that you have a remote job or you're self-employed and you can show a certain amount of money that you're bringing in. So those are the major ones, and there are other minor ones too. But here's what I just recommend. Just get on Google and do a Google search for the country that you're interested in, and find out like what are the types of visas that you can apply for as an American citizen. And then you say, based on me moving there, or based on me wanting to live there for X amount of months or X amount of years. And it will tell you. And then you can start to then, like once you've gone through that initial search, you can start to narrow it down. Okay, well, like, what else do I need to do? What else do I need to do? Give me specifics. Then you can contact those consulates or embassies, and you can say, hey, you know what? I'm interested in the blankety blank visa. Can you give me a little bit of information about it? Okay. And then, excuse me, I'm so yawny today. Then what I'm going to recommend is, if you can, I've been to Italy a lot of times, but if you can, go to whatever country you're interested in, and if you can get a sabbatical for like a month, minimum a month, where you can go out there and live. Oops, I just knocked over my camera a little bit. You can go over there and you can live, and you can actually see what the culture is like, what things cost. Can you find like an apartment or a house that's reasonably priced, etc., etc.? Will you be able to easily make friends? Things like that. You want to live there and see if you can figure that out. If you can stay for 3 months or 6 months in one place, even better. And please don't go during the high season. Don't go. You're going to be paying more money. There's going to be less inventory for you to have in terms of apartments or houses. Just don't do it. Go in the off season. When am I going? Like beginning of October. Beginning of October. latest the end of end of October, beginning of November. Okay. So, gosh, I'm so sorry. So these are the things that I've been thinking about, when I've been like, okay, I would like to move overseas. What do I need to do? And to say bye-bye to your family, right? And here's what. If they're like, oh, we're going to miss you, and you're like, I'm not going to see you again, just invite them out. Take them down to the post office or wherever your passport agency is, and just go get them a passport. And let them know they've got an open invitation. And then you'll be okay. If they're going to show up, they're going to show up. And if they're not going to show up, well, okay. I'll be home in a couple of years. I know I keep hitting my camera, but here you go. But that's my dog down there. But, yeah, so I'll be home in a couple of years. And then you come back in a couple of years, spend about a week, and then head out. But if it was me, and if I had a relative that was moving to Italy, yeah, I'm there. My friend in Greece, yeah, I'm there. You got a place in Greece? Yeah, I'm so there. I'm there. I was a little triggered looking at that whole thing with this man refusing to shake this woman's hand. And it just made me start thinking, and made me start feeling really sad. And as I'm listening to all the excuses and whatnot, and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe he just doesn't like Democrats. But when Biden became president and he had to swear in this Nebraska Congress woman, this husband of hers came up, shook Joe Biden's hand, had the entire family coming up, introduced the entire family. They all shook President Biden's hand. And then the previous administration before that, the Trump administration, and so not the previous administration, but yeah, is that right? Yeah, Biden. This is, I think, her third term. I know for sure it's her second term. But, no, it's her third term, because I saw that Pence was shaking their hands, and I was like, well, they're Republicans. But then so was Biden. But when Harris holds her hand out, he's looking at it with disgust. Will I call University of Nebraska and see if I can get through and ask him why he did that? Maybe. What, does he have a problem with women? With black women? What's your problem? Because you didn't have a problem with Biden. You didn't have a problem with Pence. You got a problem with Harris? What's the problem? Okay. Yeah, it's the sheer arrogance of these men, especially, white men. They treat the women like this, and they get away with it. Everybody's making excuses under the sun. But if the situation had been reversed, and Kamala shows up with her husband, and this woman from Nebraska, maybe she was the president of Congress, and she went to shake Kamala's husband's hand, and he's acted, yeah, they'd be up in arms. Because the other side can't act decent. And they can't acknowledge this woman because they're feeling probably threatened. I mean, not probably. They're feeling threatened. They should. Because their thinking is not good thinking. It's not solid thinking. It's not smart thinking. It's stupid thinking. We're in the year 2025 of our Lord. And you're still treating people like that. It's a lot going on. But I think on that note, I'm gonna leave it for the day. I have not started my diet yet, but I believe it's gonna get there. And I am not a big believer in starting a new diet on January 1st because I feel like it's too close to the resolution, and resolutions I think are probably made to fail. They just are. I haven't seen very many people keep their New Year's resolutions and then keep them going beyond when need to be going beyond, like weight loss. So, yeah, I'll be focusing on that at some point. Because when I do start it, I need it to be successful. And last week was a stressful week, and it was just not going to be possible. That was not going to go back to my comfort foods because I didn't feel comfortable. I felt discomfort on so many levels. Okay. Alrighty. That's pretty much all I have for today. I'll be back on Thursday. I don't know if it'll be the morning or the night, but I will be back. And let's talk and spill some more tea. And how about if all y'all that are watching this, write in the comments and tell me, is there anything that you're interested in? Is there anything that's bothering you about how you're being treated? Do you agree with what I said or disagree? Or can you expand on it a little bit? I am interested in hearing what other people have to say. I'm not just here trying to just what, and just go off on whatever, ranting or raving. I'd love to have audiences interacting. At some point, when I have enough audience members and there's an indication that people are interested, I'd like to go live. Okay. So, in the meantime, I will say that Koffee spilled the tea today. And now Coffee is going to leave the room, so Coffee can go and maybe get some coffee before Coffee's got to go to bed. So I hope everyone's having a great day, great evening, wherever you're at, great night. Start making plans. Whether you're going to stay or whether you're going to go, we have to learn we got to insulate ourselves. What's your plan? So anyway, today is Monday, January, Monday, January 13th, right? 13th. And 2025. So again, if you could like this video, if you could subscribe to my channel, that helps with my algorithms. I can help to build up this community. I think it's a community that is going to be strong. It's a community that needs to be heard. It's a community that needs to emote. All right, so all of y'all have a good evening, and I will see you tomorrow. This is, again, Coffee Spills the Tea. Good night, everybody.